Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are here to catch some nutter butter action here in S2-7, which is one of the home kingdoms that I reside for the group, or this merge KVK group. We got 38, let me start low to high, 38, 44, 50, 65, 68, and 75 here. We have NXS going up against EIS here as EIS, LSK, from those that remember, and along with, I think, one more that I'm forgetting right now, but we'll try to find them in the off the leaderboards in a moment, have been pushing farther south, southeast from the Frost Dragon lair on the plateau, trying to push back more. Even the KPT alliance that I'm in, they've been pushing them back a bit too as well. And this is just one of what seems to be me catching at the right time. We have NXS, and I think there was some WM, if I saw that right. I am not cray-cray as much as I thought I was. Someone has to tell me. I thought I saw one WM person there. Maybe it is beyond me at this moment. Could have just been seeing ghosts. But they have a lot of troops right now, and they are just funneling, if you will, down the throat through these mountain chokes. Just go. I mean, it is a stampede right now, and I love it. I do. I'm basking in it all day, every day. This is pretty. I mean, again, this is actually kind of cool to see. Because to me, this is one of those types of tactics that we have seen a few times being utilized in some of the KVK groupings, where a large horde, if you will, of units will go in a singular direction, pushing back their opponents. And the benefit here is that if your opponents or your enemies are running away from you, while you're chasing them, you're also doing attacking, right? So it's not as though they're using kind of their primary attack. At most, you will really just kind of get counterattack damage at that point. So it's really it is a very advantageous position to be in if you are able to take advantage of that. Ooh, there we go. EIS dropping the Thunder Rock there. Beastmaster gift is on it. Let's see what the NXS group decides to do here. Right, usually we see typically one of two things. Either everyone immediately focuses down the Behemoth, or they end up moving outside of the Behemoth's range, waiting for the cooldown to drop, and then re-engaging. Right? And I probably should really say a third option that I haven't seen this used too much, but in my opinion, I think this is something that could be done as well, which is where because the thing is, you already see the defined range. The other option is that you spread out and you really space yourselves out, so you're reducing the amount of opportunity the Behemoth can hit you with AoE. And then you're still, even if you're still within the circle range, you're still fighting, but you're focusing on the units rather than the Behemoth. But you're spreading out enough to where even if the Behemoth wants to go and attack a pocket or a small hived group or condensed amount of units, the Behemoth still isn't going to be doing that much damage, right? So you're still focusing on reducing the primary. This is pretty wild, though. The Behemoth, I think. Oh, did the Behemoth run away, or did the Behemoth just get zeroed? Because that health bar was dropping. Oh no, it's right over here. So there we go. Okay, Behemoth just went down. It looks like that. Again, this is one of the things we touched on, where if you're going to be focusing the Behemoth down, it's really good to do it in an organized way where you're having everyone hitting the Behemoth the moment that it drops, right? Where you're trying to have, maybe within about 30 seconds or less, having everyone focusing the Behemoth at that time. I thought NXS did an okay job here. I would have actually liked to seen them focusing it a little bit sooner than when they actually did. However, they still were able to get it down, so it's not really the end of the world at that point. In these moments where you're having a lot of the grouping that you're typically seeing right here, right? Actually, for me, this would be nice. Let me see if we could switch this up a little bit so we can take advantage of using some nice colorful moments. But this is one of the situations where when you're kind of watching this long-standing fight, right? Where you're kind of on these opposing sides, if you will. It is good. Ooh, here, wait, let's move that over. Bam, where's my thing here? Well, I do have to update that eventually. But if we go over, like, so you have I'll group here. Ooh, we're getting a little bit of lag. There's a chance we might lag out and have to restart, just as a forewarning. But the idea here is that if you're fighting on these sides, you're very much grouped up, right? So the idea here is really trying to kind of spread yourselves out as wide as you can. Even if you have to come up over here to spread out, right, that can be an option as well. So that way you're really putting yourself in a good position to do, to make sure that you're putting it. Oh yeah, see, look, it's already happening. We're going to get, no. Let's go back up here to the main. Yeah, look at that, dude, the lag. This is what I'm talking about. It's wild because I don't ever see this. I don't ever see this. Oh, is it coming back now? I was going to say that would have been so weird if it did. Okay, hang on. I'm going to have to try and close this out and see if we can get a restart in a second. Yeah, just wild stuff, man. Let's close program. And again, if I load this on my phone, if I load this on a tablet, it's wild to see the difference in pretty much almost non-existent lag that is happening. Very just fluid gameplay, even in big numbers, right? Now, I haven't had this happen in a while, and we've recorded a couple fights. But that's, again, when there gets to be a certain number, whether that's 150, 200 troops or units on the field, I feel like it's somewhere around there. That is when on the PC client, the performance drops, whereas the phone and tablet performance pretty much stays about the same. I mean, it's really good. So, again, it's just again, wild to me. I'm actually going to try, before we kind of get back into the fight, I'm going to drop a frame here. Let's go to 0.1 is what we're going to do. And then I think I'm just going to go, maybe we'll go 30. I don't know how much that might factor or not, but, we'll see. I have hope. Oops, hang on, where am I going here? NXS. Okay, cool, here we go. So we got NXS. Now we're finally back in the top with NXS and EIS. Hang on, let me scroll up here a little bit. I mean, again, we'll see how the 30 frame rate works. Usually what I notice is dropping our render quality down to 1 gives us the best chance for it being a little bit better. It is unfortunate that we have to, but the quality I don't think has dipped that much, but it's just, again, it'd be nice if everything kind of worked out the way that it should. And see, now we're starting to see the Hector Al Grandes popping up, which is really just never a good sign, man. Like, I want to be able to enjoy watching the PvP, talking about it, talking about what are the compositions, what do the matchups look like, what artifacts are we seeing being used, what are good positioning, how are we seeing flying units and cav being utilized. Again, just to name some things, but it does make it difficult when, of course, we are experiencing kind of levels of lag. Hopefully we end up stabilizing a bit, though. And again, I don't know what the solution is. Someone who's probably a little bit more tech savvy than myself would have to let me know, why is it that when the fights get up to a certain amount of units on the field, the performance for the PC client decreases, whereas the mobile and tablet devices performance does not drop that much and can handle without Hector Al Grandes popping up on the phone. Now, that's just my experience. I don't know if other people have phone experiences or mobile or tablet experiences where you do see a Hector Al Grande or an extreme amount of lag. But honestly, when I go in and I watch really big fights happening with 150, 200 plus units on the field, I don't see it. At least it hasn't happened yet. So we'll have to let me know on that one. I'm very curious. But it seems as though it's holding up okay so far. Is that Necro still out? So the Necro's out, and they summoned the Frost Giant as well. So you can see here that NXS is taking a little bit more of a defensive approach, right? They're not going into the radius field for either of the behemoths. Instead, they're staying on the edge. The challenge here, though, is I really would still like to see them utilizing, and we're going to show this to you now. I'd like to see them utilizing the space. Look at this space here that is not being utilized right now, right? Look at this. You have a very thin choke between the mountain and the city, and then you have a city and then right there, right? You're not utilizing, you're basically limiting yourself right now to half, if not less than half, of the width that you can take advantage of. And that's really what we're talking about when we refer to having good spacing and good positioning, right? Where you're having kind of your ranks being reformed. That's really what I would love to see here. Again, this is very similar to some situations we saw before when we were watching NXS fight, where the position at times seemed to be advantageous towards them, but just not really maximizing as best as they could be. And that's really what I would love to see, right? Very similar up here on this end as well, right? Look at the space. Look at where the fight area is, right? And look at the space that's being utilized right now. Once again, you're fighting here and you're fighting here. Very thin choke points. Why not utilize the space up here and then also be able to fight in, right? So now you're able to hit from all these different areas instead of just limiting yourself to essentially right here, right? You have this entire space. Now, yeah, some of them are moving up, but remember, one of the things we often talk about when you are moving on the battlefield is being sure that you're moving as a unit, as much of one as you can, to where you're not fighting mismatches or kind of disadvantageous situations where the ratios aren't really in your favor. And what I mean by when you hear me say ratios is numbers advantages, right? You're essentially having, 7, 8, maybe 9 people right here, kind of in a 9v3, 9v4, 9v5, 10v5, 11v5, etc., right? That's kind of what this battle is here. It's really in favor of EIS. So should these NXS members be up here if the numbers are not in their favor advantage-wise? Short answer, no, they shouldn't. Right? In this case, they should be withdrawing, going south, regrouping, trying to then re-get the numbers advantage. And that's really what I'd love to see. Even going up here, or back down, right? Look at this. Look how bunched up the NXS group is. I mean, look, they probably have 30 or 40 players just in this little circle. Again, making sure that you're utilizing the space, right? One of the things we have to talk about, forming those arcs, right? So the idea being when you're fighting, it's kind of like this, right? You're fighting an arc because you want to stay at max distance no matter where or what position you're fighting in, right? So look, all these lines basically converge on the same, but they're all at different points, right? But they have, again, don't quote me correctly on the distance here for my drawing, but the idea being that you are always at max distance when you're referring to your ranged units, right? So this would be your mages, archers, celestials, and then obviously with the exception of Springward and Cav, because they do have the range Cav, but again, the range is a lot smaller. So just being aware of this, right? Now, again, this is, don't get me wrong, oh my gosh, wow, crazy damage there from that burst strike. Now multiple negative purple, that time bomb going down, another burst strike, got a terrifying inferno. Jeez, multiple. That time I was probably going to go off. We'll probably see a couple negative perps happening. Divine Mercy right there, throwing out down that tier of Arbin. Trying to get some heals, right? Remember that healing for 2-second intervals up to 8 seconds. Again, only healing, I have to remember now. I think it was like 3 or 4 that it heals now, but it used to heal 10, which was pretty awesome. And actually, when I really think about Tears of Arbin, this is something that a few people have brought up before. You've probably heard me mention this a couple times. Something I really think that they need to buff a little bit. I just felt that they nerfed it just a little bit too hard. Another terrifying inferno. It's funny because when I'm watching the PvP, one of the things I often think about is wanting to spend more time really studying the game. And what I mean by that is immersing myself in, like, for example, if I was doing this full time, one of the things I would do with my time is I would, like, every day I would dedicate a certain amount of time to just reading through all of the hero skills, reading through talent trees, reading through all the artifact skills and their pictures. So that way, when you hear me talking about skills that are being used, more specific pairings, even war pets as an example, right? Those are things that I can give you a little bit more of a deep dive and context in. For me, that's always one of the things that I feel I just don't have enough time to really invest in as much as I would like to. And, I never want to feel like I'm cheating anyone, right, when I'm giving you commentary, because there's still a lot of great points and great areas of PvP that I can still talk about and I can educate on, and I always feel great about those things when I touch on them. However, for me, I always want to try and do the best job I can. And again, I never want anyone to feel as though you're only kind of getting half of a product or half of something, or you feel slighted in that way, because it is something that I would very much like to do. It's just, as most people know, I work full time. I got 3 kids, 3 lovely daughters, I should say, a family. And now, I'm getting actually more into soccer coaching once again, which has been absolutely fantastic for me. So there's a chance that, when I get off of work, I'll probably, if everything goes well, I might have some teams that I'll be coaching at the academy level for some clubs here in Georgia, which is the state I'm in on the East Coast after moving from California. And so, again, I'm really excited about that. Though, again, we'll see how all that goes. But it's all to say that, it's not as though I'm never going to be consistently putting out content. Hopefully, I will continue doing that for a very long time as we eventually work our way. Because really, if you're asking me, the thing I'd love to do is if I eventually get to a point where I can do this full-time content creation, it would not only would it still just give me so much more time to produce and to provide a lot of different varying types of content, do the things that I talked about, but also still allow for me to invest on the coaching side, or the soccer coaching side that I'd like to do, and then, any others too as well. Well, I may even talk about, I don't know if I'm going to talk about it now, but one of the things that I will tease, so to speak, right? One of the things that I will most likely make a video on is the meet and greets that they posted for the one in Cologne, Germany. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But they're for, I think that one's on November 19th, I think was the date. And I just want to say, I don't know if anyone else is incredibly excited that we're here, that Call of Dragons is now starting to do meet and greets. But I, for one, am just over the moon and ecstatic. And I cannot wait for them to do another one where there's a little bit more heads up notice for people like myself, creators, and I'm sure just other players in general as well, to try and get, a bigger, because again, I think they're just kind of doing a small, more tester, more of kind of a sample size for this one, where it's, hey, if anyone's in the area or you live close to this the country and or the city, right, come on by. But I know, I believe from at least what I was reading into the announcement on is that it's a little bit of a smaller venue compared to being in like a big convention center, as an example. But again, I'll tell you this, if I had the opportunity to go to that event, even though it may be a little bit smaller than what they might eventually do in the future, I would still go. Sadly, my passport is not up to date as I thought it was, and there's about an 8 to 10 week turnaround time for passports at the moment, so it is not the most ideal situation for myself. But I am planning to go and schedule an appointment so that way I can try and get that here within the next 3 months, right? So hopefully they don't do another meet and greet for 3 months, and whenever they do plan the next one, I'd love to go. And again, I'm going to talk about this more in another video because I think it really opens a great doorway to Call of Dragons, the community, and how even the Rock community can kind of be connected to that, with possibly doing some crossover in there that I'll touch on. But yeah, man, with that in mind, let's get back to the action. So EIS dropping the Hydra. That's coming out. They still got now NXS dropping the Giant Bear. I think the Frost Giant and that Thunder or the Hydra are now gone. Therefore, EIS Hydra is still up, but the Frost Giant doesn't seem as though it is. And now we got the Giant Bear there. EIS Hydra, Gene Bonobo. I wish I could read letters here. But this has just been bonkers so far with the amount of fighting. I mean, look, we are almost at... I pretty much got into the action shortly after it started. So we are... I want to say I was probably a few minutes late. But, we're going 21, 22 minutes of just nonstop PvP action here from NXS and EIS. And again, I know that EIS, LSK, that group is pushing a little bit more farther south, but man, NXS is putting up a fight, and I got to give kudos, man, where it's due to see this much PvP happening after Zone 4 has already been open for a while. Again, man, it is awesome to see. I love it. I bask in it. I think it is fantabulous. Let's see real quick. I wonder if this will let me. I'm just curious what the powers are and how we're doing on merits. Let's see if we can take a look real quick. So power, EIS, NXS, right? So you got 1 and 2. It looks like, 1.7 bill differential there? And let's look at Alliance merits. she's 815 million, almost 816 million. But NXS, less than half. But still, fighting good. I mean, man, it's just wild. Look at that. You got 6 alliances here at 100 mil plus, with TLR and Myth there for 7 and 8, getting close in on that. I mean, just bonkers right now. A lot of PvP that is happening here in S2-7. And again, man, I'm all for it. So, beam me up, Scotty. I am in. Like Flynn. Okay. Let's see what we got now. So EIS, again, a little bit here when we talk, again, very similar. When we talk about the spread, something I would really like to see on their end as well, where we're seeing a little bit more spread on their side. A little bit of clumping right here. Now, the NXS side, this doesn't look that bad if they were to kind of work their way over here where you see Windcatcher and then spreading out a little bit here along the perimeter. NXS pushing it. I mean, again, I like that they're spreading out as far as the width of spread between here and about up here, right? This isn't bad in that sense, and I like how they're kind of trying to fight on 2 or 3 fronts that are along the same line or path, we could say. So that's not bad for that. This one right there, I don't know if I would really be fighting that. Windcatcher kind of overextending himself. Again, NXS, some of the players falling a little bit back. Ooh, what is happening over here? Oh, wow, EIS Gift. Looks like just went in there pretty deep on that one. And you still have some NXS players not really moving too much. And then right here, right, clumping a little too much here, right? This is one of the things. And again, EIS, a little bit more spread out than the NXS members are, at least if you're just kind of comparing this northern battlefront. Something where we'd like to see NXS doing a little bit more, right? Again, an example would be something like this, right? Where you're spreading like that, and then, again, you're firing in from multiple areas. EIS, I mean, decently clumped here. Same thing even with this group over here. So it's not as though it's that much better. It is a little bit, because what you could see, this is the thing, right? When you're talking about the groups being clumped, what you're really having to think about is the line that's being formed. So when you have groups that are trying to go through a choke, you're having this line, and it's almost like, here's the kill box, here's the kill box, here's the kill box, and here's the kill box, right? And it's kind of going along the same direction. That's one of the reasons why you want to try and avoid really clumping yourself through a choke point like that, being very aware of terrain and taking advantage of that, right? And again, I understand that I said kind of going down here, and you'd have to kind of go down this ramp to get there, but you could still do it, right, is the idea there, right? There is still that opportunity. And now you kind of have to figure out, right, because remember, you're right here at the border between NXS and LSK, or sorry, NXS, EIS, and then I think we might have seen an LSK. Man, I swear I saw a WM person. Someone is going to have to let me know in the comments if you saw this WM. Oh, there it is, right there. I see him. I have found you, Baldwood. Yeah, I knew I wasn't cray-cray. I thought I saw some people. Some real-life humans. Let's see here. All right, let's push it up a little bit more. So NXS looks like, and maybe a few more WM. Okay, so we got PX13, maybe a few more that are coming in. It's pretty dope, man. Let's post. Yeah. Enjoying watching this fight. Oopsies. I just posted that in Alliance chat. That was not supposed to get posted there. I mean, that's cool too. They're probably like, oh, thanks, boss. For caging. Yeah. Let's go back here. All right. So let's see what we're seeing a lot of here. Ooh, did you guys see that? When the War Pet skill goes off, they also get a avatar pop-up? How have I not noticed this before? We've already been watching a bunch of... I'm just probably not noticing for whatever reason. But let's see. Forbidden. It's so funny. Nice. There you go. Let's get some agua. Oops. Okie dokie. So let's see. We got some Lilianas. Let's see what we got here for some of the comps. I think I saw some Garwoods being ran there. Lily. We got Thea. We got Veln. Atheist. I think I saw a Nico there. I haven't seen a Waldir yet. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Madeline, another Atheist. We got a Veln up there. Hosk and Panda. That's what we're going to call that war pet, Panda. Another one. We got Madeline. Okay, looks like NXS. Push up a little bit more. EIS throwing out another Frost Giant. Oh, wow. Unless that might have been... I swear it's like their second one. Interesting. I wonder if they just got enough donations from everyone to like power it through that much faster. But isn't there a cooldown on them as well? So shouldn't be able to pop the second one that soon, unless the one we saw before was a different alliance, and I'm just tripping. But hey, man, EIS Frost Giant coming down. Let's see, man. They're and NXS not doing bad. I mean, they're basically fighting right on the forefront over here. Ooh, dude, WML. Ooh, are we getting a little bit of a flanky flank? Uh-oh. Oh, never mind. It was actually already kind of happening. Oh, no, not really. It's just, this is just the entrance over here on the side. I'm tripping. You know, it'd be really cool to me. This is one of the things we talk about when in regards to flying units and utilizing certain artifacts. But this touch on the flying units for a moment, right? If we had like a group of Celestials that essentially could just go over this mountain pass and just flank the supply lines, that would be so sick. Those are the types of things that I would really love to see happening a little bit more, right? Where we saw a little bit of that. Some of the flanking, using our invisibility artifact. I'm forgetting the name right now. I feel so bad. Which basically alludes to one of the things I was talking about before, how I'd like to spend more time just memorizing stuff. But being able to utilize that, kind of get to the back line. There's also that other artifact that I'm forgetting right now where it allows you to kind of teleport. I think it's up to 10 units or so. To a specific area in the region, so you could have like a flying unit or something, or a Celestial that flanks, gets to a certain position, teleports those units in, as an example, right? Ways to kind of get around where you don't really have to rely all the time on doing the kind of far rally to get behind the units and then dispersing, or I guess behind your opponents. Really would like to see a little bit more creativity on that front. However, maybe it was used, and I just, again, one of those things where I need to know what the name is, and so, yep. It's actually just calling myself out. Shadow Games being thrown down there, though. Don't know if I saw a lot of damage. Another Burst Strike here for multiple Divine Mercy, throwing down that Terror of Arbin again. Ground Pound, getting some more single DPS, along with the AoE there from Mercy. Another Ground Pound happening. Oh, never mind, AoE DPS in that case. Thunder Shadow, Terrifying Inferno. Jeez, they're just all coming out. Time Bomb, Vicious Strike being thrown down. Strike of Light. Jeez, look at all this negative red, multiple negative purple happening. Wild, wild. And again, a little bit. This is the thing I'm talking about too as well. Look at this. A great example here. Look at how like bunched up this is. Look at how bunched up this is. Why not? Again, maybe you can spread a little bit here. Spreading maybe a little bit more, and then even on this side, right? Like you might be able to have some mages over here that might be able to hit there in the corner. Again, we're not expecting perfection per se. However, I'd like to see a little bit more spread here, even if it's just the archers are a little bit closer than the mages, as an example. But again, as most of you know, right, we're really in a mage meta right now. Watch, even if I zoom out, you can see. We got Thunder Rock. Just look at all the mages. I mean, you have some archers that are there. You got some cav, a couple infantry, but heavy mage. Actually, a little bit more archers here on the NXS side, where it looks a little bit more mage heavy on the EIS side. It looks like NXS throwing down their Thunder Rock now, trying to get a little bit of defense. I mean, this is just wild that they've been fighting this long. Wild. Wild, wild stuff, man. I love it though. I do. I mean, again, I could watch this PvP for an hour, for hours. I could watch this and just be excited to watch. You know, one of the things I love being able to touch on when we talk about PvP is the potential, right? Where's the ceiling of where PvP can go? Because for me, that's a pretty exciting thing. You know, when we think about where the state of current PvP, I gotta get a screenshot here. The state of current PvP, right? Where is that potential? And then on top of that, from that point, how can we make the improvements? Where are the opportunities for adjustments? Where are, what are things that we're doing that seem to maybe be trends, whether it's we're seeing newer kingdoms adapting or adopting what we're seeing in older kingdoms. Those, amongst other areas, is one of the things I really love to highlight when we're watching PvP. Because I believe we're still at this very entry level to the overall quality, or we could say the standard level of PvP, and I think the ceiling is still so high that we haven't even really started scratching it yet. And that's really what gets me so excited about, yeah, sure, we're watching PvP at the level it is right now. A big part of it, too, can also be factored to, what's our performance quality when we're watching, right? We've already kind of had one lag out, unfortunately, compared to what we've talked about with not really seeing that on the mobile tablet. So some of those things we might miss, too, as well, whether it be for down, restart time, or even just lagging, and we might not kind of be seeing everything in true motion as we would in other, by utilizing other devices. But hopefully we've been able to at least showcase a lot of PvP here, which is always my hope, right, is to try and give you as much PvP from as many different kingdoms as possible, and not just kind of showing you it from one, right? It's one of the greatest things I love doing in the S1 Plus seasons, because I was showing off PvP from, I think, 7, 8, or 9 different kingdoms. It was great to go in and to do that, right? I really wanted to try and give everyone as much love as possible. It's a little more difficult now in Season 2 because, one, you essentially have to wait for the Lightbearer Augerstone chapter to conclude, which is when the fog will open up for the final zone 4 in this case, and then the sea or the water areas around the perimeter outside of the actual continent. And so that makes it difficult because the Zone 4 usually opens up, unless it's changed, but it usually opens up before the Lightbearer chapter concludes, meaning that you can have a lot of PvP that's already happening in the beginning. Sometimes that can already be decided by the time the fog opens up. So I essentially miss all of that because, to be fair, if I had to go around and unfog every single kingdom on my level 7 scout characters, I would probably want to quit life. That would be no bueno, no fun at all. And I would not be a happy camper. To the point of where I just wouldn't do it. It would be way too much grinding to basically take a level 7 scout camp around and try and unfog. Yeah, I would. That's all I can say there. It would be fun. All right. Well, hey, look, we're at almost 32 minutes. I think I'm going to stop this here. Again, I want to watch more, but you can see here, right? EIS. We got KPT, we got NXS, and then we got WM, right? So you got the 3. There's already been some other alliances that have kind of already been pushed out, I believe. So you have LSK up here. I don't know if they're doing any fighting. Oh, maybe there's a little bit of fighting happening up here. I actually haven't really been paying attention too much. We probably should have checked up here. Wow, cool. So LSK doing a little bit of fighting here with PxR and 50 squiggly W or 50W. Looks like they're trying to push a little bit here. Okay, not bad, not bad. So doing a little bit of pushing from those two alliances. And then I think there was another one over here, which is Myth and then TLR. But I don't know. I don't know how much. Let's see what's happening real quick. Yeah, so look, it looks like there's some stuff happening here. TLR. I don't know if they're pushing Myth or kind of what the play is here. Yeah, there's a flag there. It looks like maybe they may have been. But yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see kind of what the play is there on that one. So looks like a little bit of stopping. Oh, I see. Not sure. Is anybody be nope. So, yeah, no behemoth, but okay. Just kind of showing the lay of the land here for S2-7. But yeah, that's pretty much where they're at the moment. So we'll have to see if things can kind of stay contained. Depending on how much longer that will happen. But again, EIS making strides, LSK making strides, going southeast and south. And then, again, looks like TLR pushing out Myth, or at least having a little bit of a skirmish and a fight up there. So we'll see if MCT maybe can give them some assistance. But again, with how it's looking, LSK, EIS, and I think it's TLR that's also with them, right, have been making more strides and making up more ground, along with pushing more ground here in Zone 4. So advantage is kind of going in their direction, but we'll see what ends up happening. If anything, man, listen, awesome fight. Love seeing the PvP as always. That's going to do it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.